Have you ever pondered what lurks beneath the flawless grin of your most cherished companion, until a sudden burst of fluorescent light exposes a reality you'd rather have left undiscovered? I'm Marcus Reed, a 45-year-old civil engineer specializing in bridges and roadways, residing on the outskirts of Denver, Colorado. My professional life centers around detailed drawings and mathematical computations, work that requires the utmost accuracy and rational thinking qualities I've always taken pride in. My existence has followed a predictable pattern, marked by peaceful weekends at home, following extended hours designing the fundamental structures that keep our state functioning. Then there's my wife, Sabrina, 43 years old, with a razor-sharp intellect and unrelenting ambition. She oversees a sprawling warehouse for a nationwide logistics corporation in downtown Denver. Her position is demanding, requiring her to balance inventory management, strict timelines, and an ever-changing workforce. Over the past 18 years, she's fought her way up from entry-level positions to become the decision-maker she is today. I've consistently admired her determination, her ability to control any situation with unwavering composure. We constructed a life that seemed unshakable, at least for a time. We once discussed having children, brainstorming names during late-night coffee sessions, but our careers and life's complexities gradually pushed those dreams aside until they vanished completely. What began as a marriage rich in joy and future plans gradually transformed into a routine, a comfortable pattern requiring little more than the essentials. One particular evening remains vivid in my memory, though it now feels like someone else's experience. We were at this intimate, worn-down bar near our home, complete with tacky floors and subdued lighting. Sabrina spontaneously decided to play a prank on the young bartender, who barely looked old enough to serve alcohol. She adopted an exaggerated Texas accent, crafting an elaborate story about us being cousins from Houston just traveling through. I joined in the act, peppering my speech with yalls and sporting an over-the-top smile. The bartender fell completely for our performance, eagerly inquiring about life in the South. We left the bar in fits of uncontrollable laughter, tears rolling down our cheeks. That pure, spontaneous happiness, that genuine connection, remains permanently imprinted in my memory like a snapshot. But such moments are scarce these days, concealed beneath layers of emotional distance and time. A memento of when everything seemed clearer. Here's where the facade began to crack, where our carefully constructed reality started showing its flaws. Life with Sabrina wasn't flawless, but it was authentically ours. At least, that's what I believed. That harsh fluorescent light I mentioned earlier, it's approaching, ready to illuminate the hidden corners I never knew existed. Before I delve deeper into this tumultuous narrative, I'd appreciate a small gesture. Where are you following this story from? Share your location in the comments section. Help me feel less isolated as I bare my soul. And if you find yourself drawn into this account, consider subscribing to stay updated on what unfolds next. Believe me, you'll want to witness what follows. Picture this scene, a typical Friday evening, with the sun descending behind the Rockies, casting the sky in a mesmerizing blend of amber and violet hues. I'm stretched out on our living room couch, mindlessly surfing through television channels, anticipating Sabrina's return. She enters, carelessly drops her bag on the kitchen counter, and I notice an unfamiliar glint in her eyes. It's not exhaustion or stress, it's something different. Something unsettled. She pours herself some water, positions herself against the kitchen island, and unexpectedly announces, "Jasper's hosting a party tonight." Jasper. The name strikes me like an unexpected thunderclap, jarring and disorienting. "Who's Jasper?" I inquire, maintaining a deliberately casual tone, though my instincts are already sending warning signals. "Just a new warehouse director," she responds dismissively, as if it's inconsequential. But her subtle smile, the slight elevation in her voice pitch, suggests this isn't merely casual conversation. That fluorescent light is beginning to flicker, though I'm still oblivious to its significance. That Friday evening, when Sabrina mentioned Jasper, lingered in my thoughts more than I care to acknowledge. I avoided questioning her about the party. Instead, I simply watched as she collected her keys and departed, leaving me with a perfunctory kiss that felt more like routine than genuine affection. The house descended into an oppressive silence, broken only by the television's monotonous drone, while an inexplicable unease gnawed at me. My profession as a bridge engineer keeps me constantly mobile, with brief trips across Colorado, inspecting construction sites, supervising concrete work, or resolving design issues. During those nights away, I'd find myself in cheap motels with paper-thin walls and uncomfortable mattresses, gazing at water-stained ceilings. It's solitary work, the kind that makes you yearn for home, even if that home merely offers a sofa and a cold beverage. Sabrina's reality contrasts sharply with mine, a whirlwind of constant motion and complexity. Her warehouse, a towering structure of metal and concrete, dominates Denver's industrial landscape, housing countless shipments destined for nationwide distribution. Over the years, she's shared her journey starting as a humble forklift operator working night shifts, advancing to a supervisory role, and finally securing the managerial position. Her daily challenges include managing delayed deliveries, handling irritable truck drivers, and supervising a workforce perpetually on the brink of resignation. She used to enthusiastically share stories about her team members, the cheerful ones sharing coffee and laughter, the unmotivated ones requiring constant supervision. Recently, though, these workplace anecdotes became scarce. I attributed it to workplace pressure, perhaps exhaustion. Our dinners became quiet affairs, filled with mundane discussions about weather patterns or financial obligations. The television served more as background noise, and our bedtime routine reduced to brief embraces before turning away from each other. Then Jasper began infiltrating our conversations, subtly at first, like an imperceptible shadow, gradually growing impossible to overlook. That initial couch conversation marked just the beginning. Days later, while I was absorbed in refining a support beam design at my drafting table, Sabrina settled into the recliner, phone in hand. Scrolling through content, she suddenly remarked with a smirk, "Jasper's such an entertainer. You should have witnessed today's events." I casually inquired about the incident, maintaining a light tone. She enthusiastically described how he attended a staff meeting wearing a Hawaiian shirt, joking about transforming the warehouse into a tropical bar. Her laughter rang out with unexpected vibrancy, more alive than I'd heard in recent months, leaving me internally shaken. When had she last laughed that way with me? The Jasper references continued multiplying. Throughout the following week, he became a recurring theme in her conversations. He's proposing an innovative break room renovation. She mentioned one evening while preparing salad as I grilled outdoors. He's treating the entire staff to dinner in an upscale steakhouse downtown tomorrow, she casually inserted into another conversation. Each narrative enhanced his persona, a confident, larger-than-life character who navigated life with unwavering assurance. I began visualizing him as a polished professional, sporting an expensive watch, demonstrating casual affluence. Though each mention of his name intensified my internal discomfort, I maintained a composed exterior. "Sounds like he's bringing energy to the workplace." I'd respond with a forced smile, while internally questioning why discussions about him sparked such animation in her, an enthusiasm I hadn't witnessed directed toward me in years. Then came the pivotal moment. I arrived home late from a construction inspection, my work boots coated in site mud, muscles sore from navigating scaffolding all day. Sabrina lounged in the kitchen, wine glass in hand, her phone casting a soft glow on the granite countertop. She glanced up with practiced nonchalance and announced, "Jasper's organizing something interesting for Friday. There's this trendy rooftop lounge in Lodo with unlimited drinks. Thinking of joining." I felt my jaw tighten, but maintained composure. "We always do Friday nights together," I reminded her, dropping my keys with a metallic clang. She responded with an exaggerated eye roll, took a deliberate sip, and dismissed my concern with, "It's nothing serious. Marcus, don't overreact." That's when the unsettling sensation crept up my spine. Something felt fundamentally wrong, and it extended beyond casual drinks. The warning signs were intensifying, about to reveal an unfamiliar facet of Sabrina's personality. Her casual mention of the rooftop bar lingered uncomfortably in the kitchen atmosphere. I remained rooted in place, construction site mud still clinging to my boots, as that cold unease settled deeper. The majestic Rockies loomed outside, their silhouettes dissolving into the twilight, while our home's interior seemed to constrict around me. I processed her words silently, choosing not to challenge them immediately. She dismissed it as just drinks, but her evasive glance and white-knuckled grip on the wine glass suggested concealed intentions. Autumn descended upon Colorado, bringing its characteristic crispness as the foliage transformed. Work kept me occupied, particularly with a challenging bridge project near Golden, where we encountered structural complications. While my hands remained steady reviewing technical drawings, my thoughts drifted constantly. Sabrina's references to Jasper became increasingly frequent and detailed. One evening, she reclined on our sofa, feet elevated, enthusiastically describing how he impressed an important client over an expensive downtown lunch with his charismatic demeanor. Another time, while sorting laundry with seeming innocence, she praised his ability to transform mundane office meetings into engaging experiences, portraying him as some corporate enchanter. Her voice carried an unmistakable enthusiasm, and every mention of him felt like a calculated blow I couldn't evade. I began detecting other subtle changes, accumulating like snowflakes before an avalanche. Her arrival time shifted later into evenings, with explanations revolving around warehouse, stock-taking, or last-minute operational issues. Her phone demanded increasing attention, messages she'd glimpse briefly before flipping it face down beside her coffee mug. One evening, I discovered her on the back porch, Colorado wind tousling her hair. Engaged in a hushed conversation, she abruptly terminated when I slid the glass door open. "Who are you talking to?" I inquired casually. "Just work stuff," she replied, brushing past with a smile that seemed rehearsed. My chest constricted, but I suppressed the feeling, convincing myself I was being paranoid. Then arrived that pivotal Saturday. We shared this tradition, Sabrina and I, where we'd settle in with cold beers to watch the Broncos game, playing armchair quarterbacks from our living room couch. It was our sacred ritual, or at least it had been. That morning, while I was in the garage wrestling with an old toolbox, grease staining my fingers, she appeared in the doorway. "I'm going out tonight," she announced, her tone unnaturally neutral. "Another work engagement with Jasper." My grip froze on the wrench. "Tonight?" I questioned, rising slowly. "It's game day." She shrugged, adjusting her jacket collar. "It's not that important, Marcus. Just a team dinner. Jasper's treating everyone." I stared at her, dropping the toolbox onto the workbench with a hollow thud. "This isn't just about casual drinks anymore," I stated, my voice carrying an edge I hadn't intended. She folded her arms, cocking her head. "You're making this complicated. He's my supervisor, that's all. It's work-related." Work-related. The phrase landed heavily, but it was her defensive delivery, almost challenging me to object, that ignited my suspicion. I moved closer, lowering my voice. "You talk about him constantly. Late meetings, phone calls, and now abandoning our game tradition for some upscale dinner. What's really happening?" Sabrina, her eyes narrowed, lips forming an expression between mockery and defiance. "Please, you're acting like I'm being secretive. It's a team event. Just relax." She turned to retrieve her purse, but I noticed her momentary hesitation, that split-second pause. "Relax," she repeated, quieter now, as if trying to convince herself as well. She departs, the sound of gravel crunching beneath her tires echoing through the garage. I remain behind, the Broncos game still playing on the old television in the corner, though its commentary has become mere background noise. My thoughts are churning, methodically cataloging every recent late night, every averted gaze, every laugh she shared with Jasper that's been absent from our interactions. I find myself scrolling through our message history, noting how her recent responses have become increasingly terse and businesslike, a stark contrast to her previous habit of sending lengthy, animated messages about workplace happenings and colleagues' jokes. Then it catches my eye's social media post from the previous week, showing her with a warehouse team at a local bar. Jasper's arm is casually draped across her shoulders, his smile unnecessarily broad, her head tilted toward him with unsettling familiarity. The truth blazes before me like a neon sign, revealing something sinister I can't dismiss. That image of Sabrina and Jasper haunts me, his possessive embrace, her unguarded smile, their proximity too intimate for comfort. The remainder of Saturday passes in a blur of restless pacing through the house, the football game reduced to meaningless background noise, orange jerseys merging into indistinct shapes. The garage's familiar sense of motor oil and settled dust are overshadowed by a growing tension in my chest, a toxic mixture of anxiety and anger I never knew existed. Outside, ominous clouds gather over Denver, foreshadowing the impending storm. By Friday, everything erupted. Returning from an Arvada site inspection, my truck vibrating from the day's toll, I navigate through rain-slicked streets, city lights blurring against the wet windshield as I pull into our driveway. The house greets me with darkness, silent except for the refrigerator's steady drone. Then I hear the sharp click of heels against hardwood flooring. Sabrina emerges from our bedroom, stunning in a form-fitting black dress, her hair elegantly styled, lips painted a bold crimson. She halts upon seeing me, purse hanging from her shoulder, keys jingling softly. "I'm heading out," she announces coldly. "Dinner with Jasper at the Crimson Plate in Lodo. Might stay at a hotel afterward. Don't wait up, Marcus." The atmosphere thickened like concrete setting in my lungs. Words clawed their way up my constricted throat. "What the hell? Sabrina, you're choosing him over us again." She remained unmoved, adjusting her handbag while fixing me with a gaze that pierced deeper than anticipated. "This isn't about us," she replied. "It's simply dinner. You're creating drama over nothing." I moved closer, raindrops falling from my jacket onto the hardwood. "Nothing. You've been attached to him for weeks. Secret phone calls, canceling our plans, and now this that's more than dinner." Her expression hardened as she shot back, swift and sharp. "You don't owe me, Marcus. I'm not some broken thing for you to repair." Something snapped inside me then, unleashing a torrent of emotions I couldn't contain. "If you leave now," I warned, my voice unsteady, "we're finished. I'll contact Hank and have divorce papers drawn up on Monday." Her laughter struck like ice, brittle and cruel. "You won't," she challenged, turning doorward. "You're too terrified of solitude." She paused at the entrance, scribbled on the entryway notepad, and tossed it onto the table. "There, my location, in case you feel compelled to play savior." Then she vanished, the door crashing shut, her car lights dissolving into the rainy darkness. I remained rooted, hands balled into fists, the thunderstorm outside competing with the chaos in my mind. The notepad mocked me, her handwriting stark against white paper. The Crimson Plate, followed by the Marriott downtown. Nausea surged through me, and I lurched toward the sink, clutching its edge until my fingers blanched. Over 2 decades together, yet she departed as if I meant nothing. But that laugh, that arrogant certainty that I'd back down, ignited something within me. I seized my phone, dialing Hank, my attorney and longtime friend from university. He answered quickly, sounding half asleep. "Marcus, what's wrong?" I cut straight to the point. "She's with another man. Told me not to expect her. I want to divorce Hank." Immediately, his exhale was heavy, as if he'd anticipated this. "You're certain not just another argument?" I released a harsh laugh. "She's at a hotel with him. I'm positive. Make it happen." Hank mumbled something about initiating the paperwork, but I was already in motion. I snatched my keys from the hook, navigating through the relentless downpour to reach the Home Depot on Colfax. The store's harsh fluorescent lighting created a disorienting labyrinth, with endless aisles of hardware and timber blending together as I searched frantically for replacement locks. A young employee in the signature orange vest offered assistance, but I dismissed him with a wave, my thoughts consumed by a single purpose: ensuring she couldn't return. Back at the house, I tore through the packaging, my shaking hands working to replace the deadbolts, each screw's metallic click representing a small triumph. Outside, the tempest continued its assault, lightning illuminating the sky, while I imagined her at that upscale restaurant, sharing laughs with Jasper, completely unaware of the devastation in her wake. The neon glare was blinding now, revealing her true nature with stark clarity. The newly installed locks shimmered beneath the kitchen lighting, offering little solace as the storm besieged the house, rain pummeling the roof with savage intensity. I collapsed onto the couch, gripping my phone, mentally replaying Sabrina's departure. Her handwritten note remained on the table, the words mocking me. The Crimson Plate, the Marriott. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, overshadowing the storm's fury. Hank's message confirmed he'd initiate the legal proceedings, but included an unexpected proposition. "Got someone," he wrote. "Hi. Can track them tonight. Get concrete evidence. Interested?" My response was immediate. "Go ahead," I replied. I needed irrefutable proof to confront her inevitable denials. Time crept forward agonizingly, passing midnight. I roamed the living room restlessly, my footsteps wearing paths in the carpet, flinching at every house-settling sound. Suddenly, my phone vibrated, a video attachment from Hank's investigator, without any message. Playing it revealed grainy surveillance footage from a hotel corridor, showing the Marriott's distinctive gold-patterned carpeting under harsh lighting. Room 412's door opened, revealing a disheveled Jasper, his shirt partially undone, hair tousled. Sabrina emerged behind him, dress riding up, lipstick smudged, giggling like a schoolgirl. The footage zoomed. As Jasper turned, flashing a broad smile, boasting loudly enough to be recorded. "You won't believe my capabilities, babe. I'm incredible." She swayed against him, slurring her response. "Show me what you've got, hotshot." Then came the bombshell. Hank's investigator, a lean man in a dark blazer, emerged into view alongside a process server. "Legal documents for Sabrina Reed," the server announced gruffly, thrusting the divorce papers toward her. Sabrina stood motionless, her eyes expanding in shock, the laughter dying instantly. Jasper whirled around, stumbling over himself, and something dropped to the ground with a soft thud. As the camera tilted downward, I felt my breath catch. There lay a silicone insert, the type men use for artificial enhancement, exposed like a cruel punchline. Jasper's complexion drained, his hands scrambling for coverage, but the revelation was complete. Sabrina's expression morphed from disbelief to pure fury. "You fraudulent piece of garbage!" she shrieked, charging at him. Her hands became weapons, nails slashing across his torso as he cried out, stumbling backward into the room. The recording descended into chaos, a disorienting mix of movement and yelling. Sabrina seized a bedside lamp, wielding it like a weapon, its cord slicing through the air. Jasper ducked, cringing as the base shattered against the wall, sending fragments everywhere. Her assault continued relentlessly, her feet connecting with his legs, her voice cracking with fury. "This is what I destroyed my marriage for, a fake you're disgusting." The investigator maintained his steady filming while the server made his exit. Mission accomplished. Hotel security rushed in, two muscular men in standard uniforms, demanding she cease. Sabrina turned on them, still clutching the lamp, but they quickly subdued her, restraining her thrashing form. Jasper remained huddled on the floor, sniveling, a stark contrast to the confident charmer she described. Police arrived shortly after, securing handcuffs on her as she hurled obscenities, her evening spectacularly imploding. Hank's call came immediately after, his voice distorted by interference. "Did you watch it?" he inquired. "Police arrested her for assault. She's in custody now." I released a harsh, empty laugh that reverberated through the room. "Let her stay there," I responded. "She's on her own." His laugh was dry and knowing. "The footage is perfect, buddy. She's finished in court." I ended the call, reviewed the video again, focusing on Jasper's panicked retreat, Sabrina's breakdown. Each scene felt liberating, a twisted satisfaction rising within me. I imagined her in the holding cell, makeup running, comprehending how she'd incinerated our marriage for a fraud with artificial padding. The weather outside calmed, but internally I was electric, coursing with vindicated energy. Next morning, my phone illuminated with a call from the precinct. Sabrina's voice came through, broken and diminished, pleading for me to come to her aid. I terminated the call without uttering a word, her single opportunity squandered. The harsh neon lighting had served its purpose, stripping away her deceptions, revealing the ruins of who she'd become. I reclined, watching the video loop endlessly on my screen, embracing the quietude. She'd staked everything on her deception, and now consequences awaited. But for me, this was merely the beginning of dismantling everything. The desperate ring from the precinct dissolved into silence as I placed the phone down, her begging lost in the house's emptiness. The footage of her violent outburst played one final time before I powered off the screen. The image of Jasper's cowering form and her uncontrolled rage permanently seared into my memory. Dawn's light filtered weakly through the Venetian blinds, pallid and lifeless, contrasting sharply with the previous night's tumult. Sleep eluded me as I sat motionless, absorbing the gravity of events. She'd be released soon, likely with a fine and wounded pride, but I'd ceased being her safety net. That connection was irreparably severed. Hank operated efficiently. By Monday, Divorce proceedings were initiated, including a requirement for mandatory counseling sessions, a legal formality to navigate. Sabrina appeared at the initial meeting, hair severely pulled back, complexion ashen beneath the harsh office lighting. She attempted conversation, speaking softly about mistakes and misunderstandings. I maintained a fixed gaze at the wall, refusing engagement. The therapist, thin and professional, documented everything as she rambled about pressure and poor decisions. After 4 sessions, he concluded the futility, informing the court of irreconcilable differences. She signed the dissolution papers 7 days later, trembling hands betraying her composure. I remained resolute. The property sold swiftly, attracting a newlywed pair seeking their beginning. I secured my portion, relocating to a modest Boulder apartment. It's sparse. Walls and mountain vista, offering fresh perspective. Sabrina's downfall proved more severe. Warehouse gossip escalated when the video surfaced online. Her employers terminated her immediately, citing behavioral violations, showing no leniency. Recent updates placed her at her cousin's Aurora residence, surviving on unemployment benefits, avoiding public scrutiny. The viral clip accumulated millions of views, drawing both cruel commentary and mockery. Though not responsible for its publication, I made no effort to intervene. I began frequenting a local bar near my new place, bonding with fellow regulars who carried their own battle scars. Tom nursed wounds from his wife's departure with a smooth-talking car dealer, leaving him juggling 2 kids and a hefty mortgage. Ray's story involved catching his ex in broad daylight with their landscaper, dignity be damned. Over cheap draft beers, we'd exchange our tales of woe, with him occasionally teasing me about my viral revenge video. "You're a certified legend, Marcus," Tom declared one evening, our glasses meeting in a toast. I'd manage a smirk, though it did little to fill the void within. During one of these nights, Ray passed me a napkin with scribbled digits. "Give her a call," he urged. "She's a friend, solid character." Though I pocketed it, that number remained untouched. Trust had become an elusive phantom, dissolving whenever I attempted to grasp it. The universe had one more surprise in store. While fueling my truck at a Highway 36 gas station, a weathered sedan pulled up. Out stepped Sabrina, concealed beneath a hoodie and oversized sunglasses. Initially oblivious to my presence, she approached the pump, struggling with her card. 2 declined attempts later, her frustrated curse carried across the lot. Our gazes connected briefly, and I glimpsed a shadow of her former self, the woman who once shared laughter in dimly lit bars. That flash vanished instantly, replaced by this hollow version, shoulders heavy with defeat. She attempted to speak, but I was already retreating to my truck, leaving her diminishing figure in my rearview mirror. What's the moral here? Life has a peculiar way of offering illumination, only to singe you with the same flame. While Sabrina chased illusions, I paid dearly for investing in perpetual promises. Reality isn't always aesthetically pleasing, but it provides the necessary jolt to regain your footing. Never let loyalty cloud your judgment in a losing game. Value yourself enough to exit when fractures appear, even if it means facing an uncertain path alone. That's my current station, reconstructing piece by piece. Hank recently informed me of her aggressive tactics in the settlement negotiations, grasping for more. She's welcome to try. I've already lost everything that mattered. This journey concludes here. Did this ending resonate or catch you unprepared? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this narrative, show support with a like, subscribe for future content, and stay tuned. Grateful for your presence. Until the next story.